Good morning. You're listening to Senior Scene on your hometown station, 1430 WNAV. I'm Joshua Killian, social media producer for the Anne Arundel County Department of Age and Disabilities. Today, my guest is Jim Krempel, Community Outreach Coordinator for the Anne Arundel County Office of Emergency Management. Welcome to Senior Scene, Jim.
Always a pleasure, Josh.
Last month, September is National Preparedness Month, a good time to prepare for unexpected emergencies. As we saw in 2011, the region was struck by a very unexpected natural disaster in the form of an earthquake. Can you tell our listeners more about that?
Yes, the most frequent and well-known earthquakes in the United States are located on the West Coast, Alaska, and Hawaii, as most of your listeners know. But our area is subject to quakes as well. On August the 23rd, 2011, a magnitude 5.8 earthquake hit the Piedmont region of Virginia, and it was felt across more than a dozen U.S. states and several Canadian provinces. And because it happened on the heavily populated East Coast, it was felt by more people than any other quake in U.S. history. No deaths and only minor injuries were reported, but minor and moderate damage to buildings was widespread, estimated to be about $250 million worth of damage. The quake was felt in Anne Arundel County with minimal damage, but nearby Washington, D.C. had the Washington Monument and the National Cathedral. Both required major repairs taking over a year to complete. The event proved beyond a doubt that earthquakes are a remote but real potential hazard here in Maryland.
And can you tell us about what causes an earthquake?
An earthquake is the violent shaking of the ground caused by sudden movement along faults or fractures in the Earth's crust. As shown here, plates are massive rocks in the outer layer of the Earth's surface. When these plates move along fault lines, they create a seismic wave that transmits the energy released by the earthquake. Seismic waves can move hundreds of miles in all directions from the epicenter and therefore cause damage to surface infrastructure.
And what kind of damage can an earthquake cause?
Well, the extent of potential damage depends on the depths of the earthquake's origin, the intensity and duration of the quake, and the geology of the impacted area. Heavily populated areas like ours will be more affected than rural areas. Like many major national disasters, earthquake can cause cascading effects, as shown here, with an earthquake-damaged railroad bridge impacting transportation, causing a trail derailment, fire, and releasing hazardous materials. This is especially true in more densely populated areas where one hazard can lead to others and therefore expand the overall damage.
And what can we do if we experience an unexpected earthquake?
Well, earthquakes can happen with little or no warning. So if you feel an unexplained shaking, protect yourself right away. If you're in a car, pull over and stop. Set your parking brake and cover your head. If you're in bed, turn your face down and cover your head and neck with a pillow. If you're outdoors, stay outdoors, away from buildings and power lines. If you're inside, stay inside. Do not run outside. Avoid windows and doorways. Cover your head or get under a sturdy table. Remember, drop, cover, and hold on.
And what should we do after the shaking stops?
Well, you have to expect aftershocks to follow the main shock wave in any earthquake. So watch for serious hazards like building damage, leaking gas or water lines, or down power lines. If you're in a damaged building, go outside and quickly move away from the building. If you're trapped, send a text message if you can, or bang on a pipe or wall. Use the whistle from your emergency kit to alert rescuers. Remember that 3 blasts signals an emergency. Check yourself to see if you're hurt and help others if you have the training. For medical attention or leaking gas lines or down power lines, call 911 if possible, but expect first responder delays if the damage is widespread.
Okay, so we wrote out the earthquake and its damage. What do we do now once we know we are safe?
Well, you essentially use the same common sense steps you would in any natural disaster, like, for example, a tornado. Stay informed of emergency guidance via battery-operated radio, TV, through social media, or from a cell phone. You can use text alert from our alert and rental system. Use text messages in your communications plan to notify family members you're safe. Keep the telephone lines clear for emergency calls. Inspect your property. Be careful when cleaning up. Wear protective clothing, including a long sleeve shirt, long pants, work gloves, and sturdy, thick-soled shoes or boots. Turn off utilities if directed to do so. Carefully check for damage. Do not try to remove heavy debris yourself. And then take pictures of any property damage and contact your home insurer.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining us today and discussing an uncommon but quite possible hazard, earthquakes. Do you have any final recommendations?
Well, first, it was my pleasure, Josh. Thank you. So you prepare for any emergency, including potential earthquakes, by staying informed, that is, knowing the hazards and receiving emergency alerts. By making a plan, including family communications, those with special needs, and sheltering in place. by building a family emergency kit with the essentials needed to get through at least several days on your own, and by getting involved by taking emergency training, requesting preparedness presentations, and volunteering for your community. For more information on earthquakes and all other hazards, visit the Office of Emergency Management website at www.aacounty.org/OEM, or call us at 410-220-0600, or you may follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Nextdoor, and YouTube.
If you have any questions about any of our programs or services, you can always call the Department of Age and Disabilities at 410-222-4257, or you can visit us online. Please remember to follow us on Facebook. This has been Joshua Killian, social media producer with the Anne Arundel County Department of Age and Disabilities, and you've been listening to Senior Scene on your hometown station, 1430 WNAV.